Welcome to Punch Jump. This is a review of the Xbox Series S, an all-digital console that sells at $299. For under $300, the Xbox Series S is remarkable. The console includes an 8-core AMD Zen 2 CPU clocked at 3.6 GHz and an AMD RDNA 2 GPU with 20 compute units at 4 teraflops of GPU power. In addition, it includes 10 GB of GDDR6 RAM and a 512GB SSD hard drive. The back of the console includes an Ethernet port, 2 USB-A ports, an HDMI out, and a storage expansion port. On paper, the performance gap between the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X is massive. However, as the Xbox Series S targets 1440p resolution instead of 4K, it requires much less computing power to achieve identical frame rates as the Xbox Series X. Playing Yakuza Like a Dragon on the Series X, I stopped the game, continued my save on the Series S, and the experience was the same. 60 frames per second fidelity, depth of field, bloom, ambient occlusion, and screen space reflections were all held in its 900p 60 frames per second normal mode. It all looks fantastic and is only scaled down from the Xbox Series X's 1440p 60 frames per second normal mode. Even a simpler title like Tetris Effect Connected looks fantastic on the Series S and holds a solid 60 frames per second. The Series S can also improve fidelity from backward compatible titles. On Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown, it held an unstable frame rate of 30 to 60 frames per second on the Xbox One, whereas on the Series S, it's locked to 60 frames per second. However, not all backward compatible titles will receive a frame rate boost. In Dragon Quest XI S, it runs at 30 frames per second on the Xbox Series S as it would on the Xbox One. Thanks to the built-in SSD drive, game loading is quick and fast. However, the much-touted Quick Resume feature, which allows users to switch between games on the fly, was hit or miss as it worked on only select titles at launch. The Series S is an amazing value proposition for its ability to serve as an entry-level box to Xbox Game Pass. For only $10 a month, owners can have a library of more than 100 games to download, including all new first-party releases from Microsoft like Halo Infinite. In addition, EA Play titles were added to the Xbox Game Pass service in November at no additional cost. Out of the box, the Series S has about 364 GB of storage on its SSD drive. This means that you won't have a lot of storage for large file games, including Forza Horizon 4, Destiny 2, and Gears 5. However, all of these games can be offloaded to cold storage, like an external hard drive. Overall, the Xbox Series S is a fantastic console, and quite frankly the most powerful console ever built for $299. It not only holds frame rate parity to the Xbox Series X of up to 120 frames per second for select launch titles, but also renders all the same effects using the RDNA 2 infrastructure. While it may be the least powerful next-generation console, it can still stand shoulder to shoulder with the big boys. For a full review, head to news.punchjump.com.